our program that we had the other time. So we would now like so that is the program that we had last time. So we are saying that now an array, you can still perform the same operations, arithmetic operations on the array that you perform, that you can perform on number variables. Okay, so here I want us now to be able now to sum. So I would like us now to sum. We can do here, we can do here. I can modify this program so that we can sum. So we can do here sum elements. So we want to sum elements. Okay, so here we can be able to sum ticket 1 and ticket 3. So we can put here ticket, then we want to sum first element and second last element. So we shall sum here 3. Okay, so you can be able to sum elements in an array. Now, so that one will demonstrate the operation of summation. Now the next one is subtraction. So you can subtract elements in an array. So let's say that I want to subtract index 1, which is element 2, and last element. So here I can put here ticket. So that's the syntax. So ticket, the last element is index 4. So here is that you must access the element by the array name index, then the particular operation you want. Again, you access the other element, the array name index, and then you can perform the operation. Now the next thing that I now want to perform here is to do product, which is multiplication. So I want to do multiplication of the array element. So in this case, I want to do, this is the third element, index 2, that is the second element in the array ticket, so index 2. Then I'll have here the array name and the other one that I want to multiply with. So let's say I want to multiply with the first element. So it will be in that manner. And now maybe okay, so we can resume. So here we are saying that we have, let's say, ticket 2. So this is element 3 times the second element. Okay, so this will be element 3 times the second element. So because of index. And now, so we have done that one. Then I can also do a modulus. So I can say now here I can do another operation for modulus. So I can say now element 4 here, I can put here modulus. So I want to test, no really, not that one. So here we are the modulus. So here I can do, let's say I want to test if element 4 is divisible by 2. So I can do element 4 modulus 2. Then it will be able to bring me the output. So this means I'm testing. I want to get the remainder. So in this case, I am testing that if I divide element 4 by 2, what will be the remainder? If it is an even number, the remainder will be 0. If it is an odd number, the remainder will be 1. So you can perform. Now here, you can also do division. Okay, so since they are just integers, I'll have to pick on the elements that can do an integer division. So remember, you have integer division. So if you perform an integer division to numbers that will give you a decimal, the software will truncate. So in this case, I'll pick elements that can perform an integer division. Yeah, so I can pick, that is I can pick index 2, which is the third element, which is 12. Then divide by the last element, because that is 12 by 6. That one is a perfect integer division. So we can do that one without having to interfere with the data type, which is ticket 4, the last element. So that is 12 and that one. Okay, then I can build to see if there are any errors, and then I can run. Okay, so it runs. So the sum of elements is 119, subtraction is 1, product is 84, modulus is 1, then division is 2, which is, let me check if it makes sense. Division, it will be division of 12 and 6, which is 2. Now this is element 4, which is element 4, 87. 87 by modulus 2, it will give me the remainder will be 1. Then this one is okay. So, okay, so the program is okay. So this is how you can be able to perform, in this case, several arithmetic operations on the array elements. Okay, so you can be able to perform several arithmetic operations on the array elements. Okay, now in the next program, we shall now do the a 2D character array, and also a 2D we can do a 2D character array. Then from there we can now get input from the user and also be able to display. So we can have a scenario of where the user provides. Actually, we can be able to do it so that now in the next one we can be able now to get it. Now let's do something here. We can modify. I want to modify this program so that now the user provides. So far we have been the one that we have provided the elements. Okay, but we can also have a scenario of where now it is the user who provides these elements, so it's not you. So in that case it's very simple. So you'll come here. I have here some semicolon that is hanging after I deleted it. So it's very simple. So from here it's good to prompt the user. So we can have to printf. We can talk to the user. Hi, enter. Now in this case we can just take enter element 1, element 2, and so on. Okay, so hi, enter element. So we can talk to the user to enter the elements. So hi, enter element, and then we can put there the particular number. Hi, enter element, which one? Okay, I wanted to make it to the user to enter. Okay, sure. So you can just be able to do it. Hi, enter element 1. Okay, and then the user will provide it. And now here we can store it using scanf. So under scanf we can have here percentage format specifier D. So percentage D. So meaning I'm telling the software expect to store an integer, and then I provide an address operator where that integer will be stored. So in this case it will be element. It will be the first element. So it will be ticket index 0. So in this case I'm asking the user. I'm asking the user for input, and then here I store it. But I store it where? I store it at position 1. So position 1 is what we call the index. Okay, but now it will be index 0. So the first position. So I'm asking the user to provide the elements, and then I'll store it at position 1, which is index 0. So that's why I have this one. Okay, so if it is an array, you must have where you will store it. Okay, so you must specify the position or the place you are storing it. And since it is it's a bit, you will be repeating the same thing, you can now just simply modify. Now enter element 2. So the printf simply talks where the user now types. It happens because of scanf. So you will have stored that one, and then we can go on to the third element. It's not a must we do 5 elements. Okay, so we can just do 3 elements for demonstration. And here we can have now enter, and now here we can because it's progressing, you can say good, enter element 3, which will be stored at index 2. So we can stop there because as long as array is array of size 5, what it means is that you don't have to always feed in all the 5, it simply means it will take elements less or equal to 5. So 3 is still valid, but what will happen is that the other remaining elements will be, the other remaining unprovided elements will be set to 0. So it's not usually a good practice, because you will be consuming space that is you will be setting aside space that is not used. So I can run my program. So it asks for the user to provide the elements. So I can provide then 8, then I can provide 9, okay, and then it works. So it's able to work, okay. Now from here, you can now be able now to display your elements if you want, but remember that we usually use a loop, only that in this case, since we have not introduced loops, so we are doing it in an unconventional way, in a manual way. But the good thing is that for a beginner, it helps you understand. Now here, we can now output. So here I can include I can include here a single line comment. So we are now going to output. So after the user provides, we can now outputting. So we can say now, we can output whatever the user will have entered. So we can output that element 1, and then we specify here with format specifier D, because it's an integer. By the way, it's not a must you always use D, you can also use I, same thing. And then here, you can use I instead of D, you can use D or I, they work, they mean the same thing. And now here, you must specify which particular element from which position do you want to display. So in this, now here you can't have an address operator because you are not storing, you are just outputting from variable ticket, but specifically at position 0. So here you can have the printf, and now here we can have element 2, so you are just outputting, and now here we can have here element 2 will be index 1. It's very simple to remember the elements. Just know the actual, then in terms of index is -1, and here is the third element will be index 2. So in this case, now here, this is what is happening. This is an array called ticket of integer, data type maximum size 5, is a one-dimensional array, okay. Then from here, you are prompting the user. So in this case, you are not the one providing the elements, you are talking to the user to provide the elements. So printf hi enter element 1, then use scanf. So scanf is what now allows you to store. So in this case, we are telling the software expect to receive an integer, and as I said, instead of using %d, you can also use %i. It's just that most people prefer using %d. Since especially when it comes to loops we use I, so most people prefer to just use D, so that now I can be used as a counter in loops, of which you have not yet covered. So we have here %d, which simply means you are telling the software expect to receive an integer, and when you receive that integer, store it at this location called ticket, and since it's an array, at position 1. Then we are telling it again, then the next number, expect to receive an integer, store it at position 2, index 1. The next number, we are telling it now, expect to receive another element, an integer, store it at position 3, which is index 2. And now here we are just outputting, okay. So here I've used I, so that you can understand, you don't always to have used %d as a format specifier. %d is for integer, %i is still for integer. But now here I want to output whatever that has been provided and stored here. So element 1, now I must still tell the printf function in C that I want you to expect to display a number, and that number will come from this place ticket, and since it's an array, position 0. Then I tell it I want you to expect to display a number, it will come from it should come from the second position, which is index 1. So I can build and run. Since this is code blocks, when you are running with code blocks, you have to build and run each time you make changes. Otherwise, it will not capture the recent changes. So if you're using code blocks, be in the habit of building and running. So I build. Now I provide the elements 6, 12, then 10. Then it will say element 1 6, element 2 12, element 3 10. Okay, but this one, it will display them on a single line, so in terms it is correct, but it may not be visually appealing. To make it visually appealing, I'll put here escape sequences. \n is an escape sequence for new lines. So after displaying, what this means is that after displaying this one, it will take the cursor to the next line, so the elements will appear on 3 lines instead of 1 line. Okay, now since I've made the changes and I'm using code blocks as usual, build and then run. So build and run, and then it will display the elements that the user has entered. Now if you are a beginner, I'd advise you to start easy. So these are easy exercises, but they will help you get the fundamentals. So instead of jumping directly using loops to store array elements and display array elements, you can leave out the loops so that you internalize the syntax of array and array operations. Then later on, we can introduce the loops so that we can efficiently store array elements and efficiently display array elements. Okay, so the array is fun. Our class will stop there for now. Then see you in the next class.